What's going on, guys? Been a hot minute. It's me, your boy, Wanakazm. Haven't seen each other in a while, I know, but let's not talk about that right now because we're going to talk about 5 time-saving tips for Premiere Pro. Whew. Man, that's got me out of breath. I'm going to be talking to you guys about my best 5 time-saving tips for Premiere Pro. So, let's just get right into it, I guess. Alright, so tip number 1, and that is to set up a template project that you can reuse every time you need to reopen a new project in Premiere. And what I mean by this is, so you're gonna build a base project in Premiere, you open it up, you import all of your assets, so any motion graphics assets, any audio assets you use, sound effects, file folders or bins that you have set up to every project, which is something else I'll go into. Basically anything that you know you're going to be using on a regular basis for projects that is easy to just have already imported. And then once you've done that, you save that project as project template or some kind of template name. And every time you need to open a brand new project, you just go into that project, open it up, and straight away you save as new project name. I'll show you how to do it on screen. And that will save you so much time in the long run, just every time you need to open up a new video project. I can show you mine maybe in another video, but that's something that I've done for a long time now and it saved me so much time. Get into it. Number 2, and that is to use a set of custom keyboard shortcuts in Premiere Pro to basically like half the amount of time you spend editing your rough cuts. The shortcuts that I use, I'm going to show you the setup I've got now on screen because I don't remember it off by heart. But essentially you're just using the Q, the W and the X keys to basically trim the beginning and end of every clip and just get it down to the selects that you want, as opposed to running through all of your clips, dragging the timeline along, dragging the clip in and out and removing things from the timeline. Like honestly, I started doing this a few years ago and it's just changed the way that I edit so much. It's just so much easier to cut clips down. A lot of the time as well, you can look at the audio files and see where there's pauses between speaking and use that to just trim the dead space out straight away. It's so much easier. Please do it, I beg you, thank you. Tip number 3, and that is to organize your damn project folders, boy. And what I mean by that is have like a set process or set of bins that you use for every single project that's the same within Premiere and outside of Premiere. Again, I can go into this in way more detail in another video, but I'll show you just a quick screenshot of how I have my project set up with the bins. This makes it so easy to find everything whenever I need it. Instead of wasting time like, man, where did I put that timeline? Where did I put that file? Why is there so much junk in my bins? Like, what's going on? It just really streamlines everything, and it's like with editing, the more preparation you do before you start the project, the easier and quicker it's going to be further down the line. And especially if you have to come back and make revisions to an old project, it's just going to be a lifesaver. Just trust me. I learned this working in a production house over in New Zealand. This is what the head of post-production literally drilled into my head, and it's just saved me since, and it's again saved me so much time. So cheers, Richard. Big Rich. Tip number 4, and that is to use your Creative Cloud library for assets. So instead of importing assets every time you need to use them, say like you're working on a series or a YouTube videos and you're using the same intro, using the same title cards, or using the same bottom thirds, any of those kind of things, you can just have them saved in your Creative Cloud library and you can just drag and drop them into the timeline straight away. I use this across a lot of my Creative Cloud programs, so Premiere, Photoshop, I don't think it's in library, but After Effects, all of these programs, you can have this library across them and it just saves, again, so much time. And that's the name of the game when you're editing, right? If you're working for yourself, your time is money. So the less time you spend editing a project, the more, I guess, money you're making out of it. Does that make sense? Not English, don't worry, don't drink a fizzy drink before a video. Number 5, finally, and that is have a definitive workflow when it comes to working on your editing projects. And by that I mean have a set idea of the order you're going to do things in before you start the project. So for me, I have a very specific way I'll edit. I'll come in, I'll go through all my selects, then I'll trim those down to the usable ones, and then I'll go through them again, put them on order, and then after that I'll put my title cards in and any other sort of graphics that need to be put in. I'll normally go then into doing color correction, grading, music, and then finalize it all. And again, this is another video that I can go into in more detail, but instead of going in just all haphazard and just kind of figuring out as you go, it's better to know this is the order I'm going to do things in. This is the most efficient way. That's something that's changed my editing process massively and helped me a lot. So yeah, that's 5 quick tips I'll probably go into a lot of those kind of tips in more detail in separate videos, standalone videos, but for now, take those on board. Happy editing, and if you're still here, like, thanks for hanging around, guys. It's been a while, eh? See you guys in the next video.
If they passing and harass me colder, cause see my passion keeps on passing me, I'm getting older. That's why I rarely let people at my job know I rap, cause that just turned to some circus like I'm an acrobat. And
Oh, it's hat, man. Doesn't fit on my head. I think I've got too much hair.